It's January 22nd, 2025, just about noon, and I am out and about today. Had to go to the post office, the bank, and the supermarket. So, supermarket because we're out of bananas. And we're not going over to Bar Harbor to the big supermarket till the end of the week. It's Wednesday today, we'll go Friday. And anyway, I just thought I'd show you what it looks like. Right now I'm pulling out of the parking lot at the Southwest Harbor grocery store and gonna drive home. So here's what it looks like a couple days after the storm. I must say that the weather lately has been on the chilly side. In that it was 1 degree yesterday morning, and it warmed up today to a scorching 2. So it has been fresh, but it's not windy, so it actually isn't bad as long as you're in the sun. So we're coming into the main part of Southwest Harbor. I mean, the store is in Southwest Harbor, but it's kind of out at the edge of town. And we're going to go through and just see what it looks like here at sort of the middle of January, near the end actually. And you can see it's pretty quiet. Oh, Milagro has an open sign. They were closed a lot this last summer. I don't know what was up, but they're open now. That's good. It's been for sale. I don't know if it's sold. And here we go. You can see the 7 inches of snow resulted in some pretty significant piles when it was plowed off. But it isn't too bad. And the roads, of course, are bare and dry. So no problems there. And we will be in downtown Southwest Harbor in just a few seconds. You can see it up ahead, the 2 blocks of it. Both banks are open, the drugstore is open. It didn't look like the coffee shop back off Main Street was open, but it might be open later in the day. And the hardware store is open, and probably a few other little things are open, but it's pretty quiet. As you can see, there are some parking problems. You can see 5 cars parked here on Main Street. Pretty hard to deal with that kind of congestion, but it's not that bad. We manage. As we head out of downtown and over toward the west end of the harbor, and I will turn the camera so that you can see it as we go by. Now, despite the cold temperatures, there is no ice on the main part of Southwest Harbor. That's a consequence of a couple of things. One, it hasn't been cold for that long. Over the weekend it was up in the 40s, and the tidal range here, we get up to about at extreme tides about a 16-foot tidal range, maybe 17 in some cases, but normally it's around 12 to 13 feet, and that's enough to move the water around and not let it freeze. Okay, here we are coming across the west end of the harbor right here. You can see it down there. There's a little ice over in the corner there where it's very, very protected when the wind is south. We're going to go out through Manset and head home this way. From over here in Southwest Harbor, there are two ways I can go home to Bass Harbor. One is via what I call the inland route, which is just to stay on Route 102A till I get, I'm sorry, it's to stay on Route 102 until I get to the other end of 102A. We just entered the Manset Village here in the town of Southwest Harbor. And the other is to take Route 102A, which is what we turned onto just a little bit ago. And which is where we are now. Now this route goes out to the ocean at Seawall. And you can also make a little detour here. Adds a couple hundred yards to the trip, but it's worth it to go down to Shore Road and drive right along the harbor, which is what we're going to do now. You can see the water there straight ahead, and that is Southwest Harbor. And this road hasn't gotten as much traffic. There's still a little compacted snow out at the edges. It's also been sanded, so it's not slippery. At least I hope it isn't, or if I can't turn, I'm just going to go straight into the harbor. Hey, there's Southwest Harbor from Shore Road. Looking east now. I'll turn this as we drive along. On the other side of the truck, the passenger side, it's all homes, and this is one of the high rent districts for Southwest Harbor. These homes all count as waterfront and consequently are all valued in the millions of dollars. Okay, we're just coming up. This house here was the boathouse for Ocean House Hotel, which used to be up the hill a little bit, a little away from the harbor. Here is the town dock, and as we head along Shore Road here, and pretty much the bulk of the houses here on Shore Road are summer homes. And as you can see, we're gonna have buildings between us and the harbor from here on. And I'm gonna turn right here and head back up to Route 102A. So just a little detour to give you a look at Southwest Harbor today, January 22nd at 12:24. Okay. Go up the hill here. And right up here at this T intersection, we are back to Route 102A. See any traffic, so we'll turn. Now this time of year, there's a good chance that I will not see another car until I'm ready to turn onto the road that goes down to my house. So I kind of like this route because it is less traveled. The only thing about it is that each of the individual little villages has a different speed limit. So you really have to keep your eyes peeled to know what the speed limit is where you are. It goes from 35 to 25, and right here it's going back up to 35. And then a little while later it drops down to 30. So you really have to either know where the signs are or keep your eyes peeled to see them, or you could find yourself, if the police are out here, getting a speeding ticket because you missed the transition from 35 to 25. Anyway, Just heading out here. And this is all residential except for a couple businesses. We just passed Islandscaping, which is a landscaping business, and they sell flowers and things like that. They're of course not open right now, not a lot of call for flowers to put in your garden this time of year. And then there is a store up ahead that caters to people staying at the Seawall campground in Acadia National Park. And it's, of course, closed now because the Seawall campground is closed. And not too many campers are out here that will stop. But it's a nice quiet place. We have now passed one car going the other way. Crazy traffic. See if we see another one. This is a 5-mile drive, so we may or may not. And just a few deer over there. I don't think you could see them. So I've only seen about half a dozen deer on this drive today, both ways. So the cold weather has got the deer huddled up someplace, I think. There were tracks in my yard this morning, fresh ones, but I haven't actually seen any deer in the yard today. Yesterday I saw about 8. So they'll come back. It warmed up to a scorching high of 22 yesterday. Right now the truck thinks it's 19, and we're coming up to the Seawall. Give you the view out over the Gulf of Maine. And it's quite pretty out here today. This is why I like to come this way. It's a really pleasant drive. Get a nice view of the ocean, and it is generally, in the winter anyway, it's quiet. Up here on the left is the Seawall picnic area, which is a very popular spot for people who are working to come and sit in their cars looking out over the ocean for lunch while they eat their lunch. And on the right hand side is the Seawall campground. We're just driving through on the state highway right now. And this road goes back inland from here. And except for when we go right by Ship Harbor, you cannot see the water again. But as you've seen, I've had quite a bit of traffic here on Route 102A, one car. Road. Yeah, there's a little snow still nearer the edges, but where I'm actually driving, it's bare and dry. So that's good. And unlike the last time I was out, I am not picking up any sand going up underneath the vehicle, which is good. Here where it's shaded, yeah, it might be slightly damp, but it isn't bad. Oh my gosh, 2 cars. I don't know if I can deal with this traffic. It's tough. And we're coming up here to the first of 2 trails that go out to the ocean, Wonderland Trail, which has no one at it. Sunday, when I came by here, there were 8 cars there. It was really quite busy. But it was 40 degrees on Sunday, and there was no snow on the ground. So was nice. And now we're coming up to the Ship Harbor Trail, which also goes out to the ocean. And Sunday there were about 15 cars here, all local. And today there's one. The trail, of course, is snow covered. People are in the car. I don't know if they're walking the trail or just stopped. And that's that. And I'm just gonna film until I get up, and we'll go down my road so you can see what it looks like a couple of days after the biggest snowstorm of the 24-25 winter. 7 inches. It was really kind of a non-event, but it has been cold since then, so the snow is still all here. But it's supposed to warm up over the weekend, get up into the 30s, and a lot of this snow will probably start to melt. Although where it's piled up, that will stay for a while. Okay, we are now in the village of Bass Harbor in the town of Tremont. We're coming up here to the Bass Harbor campground on the right. And my turn is right up here. Now this time of year, I don't have to worry about tourist traffic, but sometimes in the summer, where we're turning down, this road goes to one of the most popular spots for people to drive to in Acadia National Park. And there are only about 30 parking spaces at the end of the road, and particularly near sunset, it's very common to have cars backed up out of the national park onto this road. And unfortunately, where I have to turn is the last turn before you go into the national park to go onto the private road I live on. So yes, where I am right now, there are often cars backed up here waiting for a parking space to open up. And it's still a quarter mile to the Bass Harbor Head Light, which is the spot they're all waiting for. So here's our road with our signs showing you how much we like you to come down here. We don't. And this is the little road I live on. My next door neighbor and I kind of alternate as far as keeping this road snow-free. I did it the time before, and he did it this last time. Although I did make a pass just to sort of clean up a little bit, where people who had their driveways plowed got a little bit of snow out onto the road. Okay, we're just about down to my house. And so I'm gonna call this video a wrap, and I hope you enjoyed the drive home from Southwest Harbor to Bass Harbor, Maine on the 22nd of January 2025. Thanks for watching.